Capricorn, welcome to your Celtic cross reading. As always, we're going to put down the baseline and then we'll clarify, yeah? And as usual, these are general collective readings, not one-to-one private, which is to say they may or may not resonate. So take what resonates, leave what does not. And if it does not resonate at all, perfectly normal. Check your other placements. You will find yourself in there somewhere, okay? What's going on, please? Show me that Capricorn collective energy. Show me that Capricorn collective energy. Show me that Capricorn collective energy, please. Okay. All right. Two of Cups. The Priestess, excuse me. Surrounding you or influencing you, the Lovers. Relevant past the Three of Cups. Connectivity. What is exiting is lesson learned. Judgment. Oh my. Knight of Cups in your immediate future. The Knight of Wands is in your strengths. The Queen of Swords. You better slow down, honey. Imagine telling Capricorn to slow down. That's funny. Queen of Swords is the environment. Yeah. Nine of Swords, hopes and fears. Outcome. Page of Wands, such a little guy. All that energy behind this. And you're like, Page of Wands. Outcome. It's cute. Clarify, you might show me an absolute mess. But we have connectivity here. Love component, strong connection. Okay, we'll see. It may not be romantic. It could be. I got the two most romantic knights here, the Knights of Cups as well as the Knights of Wands. So I don't quite know if you're that person who's like, I'm not interested in that. Well, I can kind of tell you where it's headed today. Let's start right there with the Two of Cups. What's crossing you is the High Priestess. Intuitively, can you feel the love here? Can you feel the love tonight? That's Elton John. We'll take a look. Let's take a look. The High Priestess being in the obstacles, not my favorite, you know. Intuitively not being able to access this feeling. Let's take a look. Show me that Two of Cups, please, in the starting position. Show me that Two of Cups. Show me that Two of Cups, please. Show me that Two of Cups. Show me that Two of Cups. Show me that Two of Cups, please. Okay, the Knights of Wands. There it is again. Queen of Pentacles. And with strength, wow. Man. With the strength of your own particular heart and a comfort of knowing yourself, your sense of self-worth, self-value, and, of course, a slight twist of passion here. You knew. You kind of knew that you were all in. Your love was all in a particular direction. I don't know if you received it in return. You're telling me if that's true, you don't quite know if you can feel it. The High Priestess, you can't hear yourself on this particular subject. But with strength, Queen of Pentacles, again, knowing your sense and self-worth, Knights of Wands. You have a good sense of stability on you. This is me, this is what I'm about, I'm very comfortable with me, you're saying. And you have a very strong sense of conviction attached to you with strength. Knights of Wands, I know my energy is pointed at you. I'm not unaware of it, is what you're saying. And like, I'm very aware of it. I embrace it. I own it. I'm all about it. Two of Cups, and I hope that you got to share that with somebody. I really do. I hope it was reciprocated, because that's so beautiful. And it says you're very comfortable with you, and that your energy, be it love or passion, is not a surprise to you. In fact, you're saying with strength there, I don't love in half measures, and I don't have passion for somebody in half measures. I'm an all-in kind of guy. I'm an all-in kind of gal, at least when it comes to this Two of Cups. I would like to understand whom you were trying to share that with, because intuitively crossing this, you're saying you don't know. Let's take a look. Let's see that High Priestess, please. Or you can't feel your way around this. Let's see that High Priestess. It's not random. It didn't happen overnight. Those are real, solid, and I mean solid, feelings in you. The High Priestess, show me that. So why did we have a hard time accessing our intuition here? The Two of Cups, you didn't know. That's what I suspected. Okay. With justice. Okay. Oh, babe. Two of Cups and the Two of Cups. The High Priestess is on the sideways. Intuitively, you didn't know if they felt the same. You suspected that they didn't. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing when your energy, and not just your energy, but yourself, your actual real-world self with that Queen of Pentacles is like, I know I'm all in this. I know what I'm giving to it. It feels right. But they weren't there. They weren't there. Whoever they are, I'm not really trying to read them or they, but there is Two of Cups here twice, and you're showing me one reaction and someone else has something else altogether different. The energy and the impression of it is completely different. So, well, you were all in. Somebody wasn't. Okay, and I strongly suspected you knew this, even if you didn't really want to acknowledge it. You're kind of saying, I didn't know how they feel, so maybe they did, maybe they didn't. You kind of knew. You kind of knew. Two of Cups, I can tell that you two tried to harmonize, match them like this, okay? Being on the emotional same page with at least one other person here. You're like, I'm all in, baby. And I know it. Yeah, you did know it. I don't discredit that at all. But you're like, I don't know, though, if they feel the same way. So here's the Two of Cups. By all rights, they could share it with you. By all rights, they could. Would they have liked to? I believe so. Were they available? No. Eight of Cups. And yet, twist. Don't quite know where that's coming from. There's that sense that somebody still told themselves it was fair regardless. So that was interesting. Don't quite know what that means. I do believe that this person said, yeah, there might be some emotional components between us, but I'm not fully there. I'm not really emotionally invested in this. And I believe they told themselves that you were on the same page, that it was fair, justice. That they assumed the same was true for you, in which case they weren't listening to themselves either. The way you kind of naturally unfolded yourself around this person, that means they knew to some extent that you were kind of in line with what you were feeling towards them. But if someone's not emotionally available, but they want to try out the cups a little bit, taste it, but not invest in it, Two of Cups, Eight of Cups, they're going to tell themselves what they need to tell themselves to say that it's fair. And I think that's what we experienced here. And that would kind of be like, I can't really intuitively feel if they feel the same way. I can see why. They weren't completely present. They were never completely present, even while they were trying to exchange cups with you. So imagine, right, somebody who's used to portioning their emotional energy. It's like, I'm not working with a full cup, and I know that. I know I can't afford to get emotionally invested in this, or I just know I'm not available. But the cup looks pretty good. This is what I'm going to do. So I see someone portioning their energy out. I'm going to put 10% in my cup. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that Capricorn's doing the same. So when we do exchange, we both know we're working with 10%. And that's fair. So there's kind of an emotional, this is a weird thing to say, but there's kind of an emotional assumption here that you were kind of playing along with the same book that they were in terms of the emotional expectation. They know I'm not working with a full cup. So that means Capricorn's choosing to stay and participate. That means Capricorn must be doing the same. Oh, assumptions. We know what happens when we assume, guys, to make an ass out of you and me. You're like, I'm all in. I wonder about them. They're like, I already know what Capricorn's worth. They're on the same page with me. They know I can't give much. We're doing it 10% each side. So it's fair. I know it's fair. And if you were listening to yourself intuition, you would have felt this much sooner rather than later. So that kind of tells me you didn't want to feel it because you knew the answer, right? So I don't know how long you participated in the 10% ratio or the 10% here, excuse me. I just know that you did long enough to not listen to yourself. You knew it wasn't fair. You're saying you're all in, and they're like, I'm kind of in, but I need a lot of opt-out and clauses because I'm not really in it. But again, they're throwing it back on you. You were supposed to know. So they assumed that you were doing the same. In a way, it's kind of correct in that respect. Again, intuition being on the sideways. You insisting you couldn't feel it. You knew. You knew. I'm not saying you're a bad person, honey. I see the authenticity of your energy. And you know, when somebody presents themselves with that kind of energy, I'm naturally passionate towards you, and I have love for you, and I didn't fake any of this. I didn't force it. It just happened. But I know myself, Queen of Pentacles. in some way they too must have known what you were really representing and offering and playing along like they didn't. So it's kind of like you two were, it's kind of like you were kind of low-key assuming they had deeper feelings, and they kind of low-key assuming that you two were doing the same thing. And that you both hoped you were right. Right? You were both hoping you were both right. All right. That Lover's connection surrounds you and influences you. Too many assumptions here. Assuming that you were playing along and assuming that somewhere in there they felt more. Right. Let's see that, Lovers, please. They both had your reasons. It's because you both wanted this to some extent. That's why you're both being kind of blind to each other's emotional investment. They didn't really see, they didn't want to say, I should say, how much you were actually into this, and you didn't really want to see how much they weren't. See what I'm saying? But you both like, oh, we have a mutual understanding. That's the assumption part. Okay. The Moon, the Chariot, the Nine of Wands. Yeah. I don't blame you. No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. You put your love for this person way under the moon, and it's done so aggressively. Nine of Wands. In other words, it's active. You know what you did. You put them away in a deep place. Don't go near it. Right? And you actively guard that decision too. The Chariot, the strength of your heart, the Moon. I'm going to take whatever conviction, emotional, the Chariot, whatever emotional conviction I had towards this, I'm going to shove that way down under the moon where no one can find it, including me. And I'm going to stand by that decision. And so you have done. I don't know if that's the best decision, but I understand why. You know, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, right? The kind of embarrassment and the intensity of it, you knowing yourself so well and kind of hoping that they were too. Kind of hoping that, you know, Capricorn was on their page. That way they could justify taking out that 10%. And I know what that is. It's 10%. It doesn't mean much. It did. To the both of you, otherwise, again, neither one of you would have participated. So whatever their emotional needs were, they had them met to some degree. It just wasn't a lot. But they also said it was fair. They also said it was fair. In their mind, it was fair, because in their mind, you were playing along. It's, yeah, I can see where to this day you're going to block your feeling for this, deny its movement, not give it any more room to give it movement. You are particularly blocking the love flow, the in-love flow. If I ever had any of those kind of strong feelings for this person, away they go. And it is a strong connection. I have no doubt. 3 of Cups in the relevant past. Let's see that 3 of Cups, please. Let's see that 3 of Cups. Let's see that 3 of Cups. Let's see that 3 of Cups, please. Assumptions and all the problems that come. You know, and that's emotional blindness, honey. It's just, honestly, the 8 of Cups and the 8 of Swords aren't that far apart. It's just emotional blindness. You kind of saw what you wanted to see, and so did they. And you kind of felt what you wanted to feel, and you didn't want to be contradicted, and neither did they. You both got serviced in some way, but the assumption could only, you know, I wonder if they really have stronger feelings for me like I do. You already kind of knew. And they're like, it's totally fair what I'm doing with Capricorn. They know. That's that kind of blindness, emotional blindness, is going to take 2 people so far. But you both tried to do anything at all because you were both getting something from it. Now, I grant you, these kind of strong lovers connections can kind of pull us in that direction, despite our better judgment and better sense of self. And it's usually because we have something to learn from it about ourselves and challenging ourselves to grow and change, or, well, See what I'm saying? I understand your reaction. I do. But let's see, the Eight of Swords talk about that blindness, the world, the Nine of Cups. Yeah. That's what we're talking about today. So in the relevant past, you're reflecting on why this cycle ended. Somebody here just could not connect to what they really wanted, never mind to own it. And so while the connectivity might have been light and loose and fun, again, 10%, nothing too extreme, right? There's that same sense of, I don't really want to look at this too deeply. Ended it. Somebody couldn't grow into their feelings when they were connecting to them, wouldn't acknowledge that they were growing into them, or that it was expanding or not expanding at all. You were reflecting on them, you were reflecting on yourself. You know you weren't getting more from this, and you knew that they were completely blind to their own kind of emotional investment in this, and that they kind of refused to see more or feel more. The accusations running a little bit on both sides, like I said, that was pretty apparent from the opening. And it's dualistic in nature. I mean, the Lovers is, by definition, it takes two. But I'm seeing reasonings on both sides of the board. Neither one of you is entirely right, neither one of you is entirely wrong. You both had something to learn and feel and live in this. And all I can tell you is that the more somebody rejects what they love, they indeed reject themselves, and then stunts their own growth. And the more somebody understands what their emotional worth is and denies it, that's you, it also stunts your growth. So you both had a lesson in this. And by that I mean you knew you had larger feelings than they did, but you kept messing around with that 10% exchange. So you yourself were stunted by definition. You were not accepting the love you did deserve. And they don't know that they deserved it, therefore they wouldn't grow into it. See what I'm saying? Like this. All right, Judgment. The lesson or the choice is exited. The choice is clearly exited. This we see. So let's take a look at that Judgment, please. Show me that Judgment. Show me that Judgment, please, for Capricorn. Show me that Judgment, please, for Capricorn. The Emperor, Empowerment, Six of Swords, the Nine of Swords, what you did not know because it was too painful for you to see this at the time. So that makes perfect sense to me. But now I'm getting out of the dualistic. The choice is now exited. And here is what remains as the lesson. What you didn't know at the time is that by you willfully leaving this behind, you did step into a state of power. Empowerment. Self-empowerment here. Because it takes strength of will to exit something like this. And that there's a deeper lesson in this with the Nine of Swords. If you have to worry about a love connection this much and totter back and forth, seesaw back and forth about, do they feel the same? Because I know I feel this way. You know, that kind of tells you that you already have the answer, but we didn't want to see it. So it causes unnecessary stress. Okay, and that was a lot of unnecessary stress. Again, you both were playing along on different sides of the coin. They assumed you knew and that you were cool with it. Why else would you be participating? And you're like, I know they feel more, and that's why I'm participating, but I don't really want to answer that question. Well, like I said, that kind of suspension can only sustain a connection for so long before it stops being fun, and it stops being mysterious, and it stops being playful, and it's just pain and stress and anxiety. If you have to ask yourself that much if they feel the same way, then you already have their answer. And that's a lesson for you. And in learning that lesson, you empowered yourself to move forward, right? You know, the what if, and does it mean something more? Again, suspension works in television drama, not so much in real life. And a lot of people will stay devoted to that suspension for years, even well after the connection has ended, because they're convinced to this day it still means something more. I don't want you to do that for yourself, and it's looking like you didn't. The thing is with love, it's kind of like a price tag. If you don't see a price tag, in other words, somebody's feelings aren't obvious, if you have to ask, can you afford it? If you have to ask if somebody loves you, You already have an answer, yeah? Here's how it should look in healthy love. These are my feelings, and this is how I claim them. Do you feel the same? Because that's going to inform me if I need to proceed with you, or I can't proceed with you, or feel safe to proceed with you. Okay. And if you get a bunch of vague, can't tie it down bullshit, you have your answer. But here's the thing, with the Capricorn I'm looking at, you didn't say these are my feelings. You were hoping they felt the same. And that's why you fooled around with 10%. Okay? That's your lesson in empowerment. Capricorn I'm looking at, you didn't really want an answer. Not for a long time. You suspected one. You suspected the truth. But that's why I don't think you really ever declared your own feelings, is because you knew they couldn't deliver the same. They really thought you were playing on their side of the fence. Part of you knew that. That's why I don't think you ever openly declared yourself. You knew they didn't. They weren't working with the same goods, honey. They weren't working with the same raw material that you were. And you showed me your authentic self, and it was beautiful. Very straightforward, to the point. And this High Priestess, your intuition, I'm not sure you knew. You did. You knew. So part of you never really wanted the answer, because you knew the real answer. Okay. And it was there. You either emotionally grow and emotionally expand with somebody, or you don't. That's it. And once you declare, somebody's either there with you, and they can say it, because they want to keep you, to get more with you, and to do more with you. Any fool will be like, not really, but let's keep hanging out in this 10% bracket. No. They knew you'd reject it if they were honest. And you knew you'd have to reject them if you were. What was supposed to happen? See what I'm saying? I'm impressing this upon you because I want you to know that A, at the end of the day, you did the right thing. You did. And B, the core part of you that was right was very right. You knew what this meant to you. The only time you faltered was when you allowed yourself to be like, whatever their feelings are, is going to keep me in check. Until they give me an answer, or I know what they want. They never did. That was your answer, you know? So I can see why you shoved this under the moon. I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for that at all. It's just easier not to feel this anymore. I don't want you to be too adamant with that, because I don't want any residual unresolved feelings to come back at you in the form of ongoing anger and frustration. Okay. The hard part's done. It is. That's good. The hard part's done. And you can leave this behind. It is a lesson and a decision, more to the point, that is exiting. So I know you're handling it. But we don't want to repeat it, because I do see you emotionally trying to express yourself in some way. So let's take a look at that Knight of Cups, please. Yeah, I don't disagree with your decision at all. None. I hate that it took you to get in that space of being catastrophically disappointed by someone's lack of emotional growth and or expression before you finally allowed yourself to see the truth of it. Still, that was a lesson, though, and it's a good one to learn. Let's not repeat it. So let's see that Knight of Cups. Show me that Knight of Cups. Show me that Knight of Cups. Show me that Knight of Cups. Hopefully, you are expressing yourself to a brand new energy, or that you are just showing yourself more love, or who knows? Let's take a look. The Three of Pentacles. Okay. The Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Cups. I have you connecting with somebody relatively soon. It's literally on your bridge piece, so I will do a time check on that. But I see you carefully connecting with somebody, and you're both exploring each other as options. It starts out as friends, as these things do. It's incredibly fresh. For some of you, it has not happened yet. So let's keep this in mind, because you're showing me the both of you. I have a Knight for Knight, Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups. As far as you two are concerned, you're even. Okay, you're on even ground. The both of you literally on even ground. I've never seen anything that even before in terms of connecting. So 7 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. You and whomever this is, you're both starting with fresh slate energy. Okay, you both have options to see each other and connect. So the 3 of Pentacles, most people start out as a cooperative effort in terms of love, and that's the whole point of connecting at all, is to see if we build something further. It's not stopping at friendship, it's starting there. Okay, 3 of Pentacles is a springboard of the emotions. Okay, especially with that 7 of Cups there. You and I are both starting here, and therefore we're both on the same page. Let's take it from here, see what happens. So I got you connecting to somebody, clean slate energy. You're both starting at the same point. Okay, you're both being let out at the gate at the same time. In terms of exploration, and let's see where this goes. I mean, this is brand spanking, just started connectivity. It's like you're both agreeing to see each other, to see how it goes. So it's super cash, no pressure, you know. I'm not saying that's at all. So this is literally, do you see the backflow of this? This is literally the background noise to what is leading you up to this, okay? About being on the same page with somebody at the same time and knowing it, and not being afraid to say, this is where I am, where are you? Right? We got to keep that lesson with us always. Okay? Again, if you have to ask, question, or guess it to the point of feeling like that you are mentally frayed and exhausted, then you already have your answer. Someone should always be able to speak of their free will. If they cannot speak of their free will, then they are not free. Okay? That's it. That's it. Knight of Wands, please. Some of that Knight of Wands, some of that Knight of Wands is your strengths. Yes, I saw it. The passion I'm looking at for the Capricorn here is part of who you are, and I'm glad you know that about yourself. You want to be excited. You want to be lit up. You want to be turned on. These are all good qualities to have as long as you know that they're there, and you're saying that it's very much part of who I am. So let's see where that's taking you. The 6 of Cups. 2 of Wands. Oh, 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, well... Okay, that makes sense. I got it. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing caution in you. There's your conservative side kicking on. It's like, well, I can have all the Knight of Wands all day long, Christina, but lest we forget, I'm an Earth sign. Okay. That's cute. Okay, so you're showing me some caution. You want to develop and see if this bond becomes stronger. In other words, give it time. This is 6 of Cups, future orientation, as far as I can best see it. In other words, this is someone that you've just started connecting with, and you want to know if it's special or that it's unique. In other words, you're trying to find your comfort zone in it. So while you have natural passion inside of you, you are showing me restraint, and that's take time. I want to take time to develop this properly. It might be something unique and or special. So like I said, you start out with the 3 of Pentacles, see where it gets you. And you want to know if this is going to take you into a unique connection. I don't know if it's necessarily a soulmate, but your bare minimum, you're saying, I want to know that I can build time with this safely and securely. And that needs to prove itself more before I do anything further. So again, okay, caution. All right, I get it. I understand. It makes sense. The Queen of Swords, please. Your environment. Determination. Show me that determination. Show me that Queen of Swords, please. Okay. Show me that Queen of Swords, please. Queen of Swords. 2 of Swords. Confusion. 6 of Swords. I agree with you. I completely agree with you, and I don't blame you for that at all. It makes perfect sense to me. Your rational side in your environment, you've told me and you've made up your mind on this, and again, I don't blame you. I mean, look at the background noise for which you had to learn these lessons. This is exactly what I was talking about, you guys. So this is great. Look at that. You said, if it's confusing, I'm out. Yes. Yes, if it's confusing, I'm out. 2 of Swords, 6 of Swords. So here we have, okay, I'm connecting with you. You and I are both on the same page. Starting gate, okay? We're both here exploring and possibly building something. I'm not going to put too much passion on this up front. I want to make sure that it has somewhere to go, and that it's a unique and or special bond to me before I can completely give myself to it. Completely understand. Queen of Swords, 2 of Swords, and you're like, here's a clause for me. And you're applying this to your general environment. In other words, your reality as a general principle. I also agree with this. If it's confusing, don't put yourself into it. That's it. This blindness towards this issue, the emotional blindness that we discussed, it really affected you. I know. It makes sense. This is what we're talking about, empowerment. This is also when you last showed me the Six of Swords. If I have to question something that much to the point of anxiety and not trusting myself, and not being able to own and trust my own experiences or claim them, never mind someone else's, I gotta go. This is what you concluded. In other words, you learned your lesson. Congratulations. A lot of people don't learn their lessons, and so they keep watching tarot because they keep repeating them. Capricorn, I'm looking at you won't be needing to watch tarot too much longer. That's okay. I'll always be here for you, regardless. Two of Swords, Six of Swords, the Four of Swords. You consolidated yourself to this. Anything else in your environment, love or otherwise. Love or otherwise, guys. If it's confusing, don't put yourself into it. Done. If it doesn't speak for itself, then it has nothing to say. And if you have to ask, ... If you have to ask, honey. Okay, there's that Nine of Swords. Hopes and fears. Obviously, you don't want to get into something like this. You showed me future orientation, Six and Nine of Swords. So even though you got your thoughts sorted, I know you're still inherently a little bit low-key afraid that you might have to go through something like this regardless. Okay, so let's take a look at that Nine of Swords. I'm hoping that you are showing me healing on this particular subject. You're like, I learned the lesson, Christina, but I'm freaked out that I might repeat it. I understand. We don't want to do that. And congratulations to you. I very rarely see a potential soulmate in future orientation. The clean slate energy led up to it, but also the pause and hesitation. I want to make sure that it's unique. It may not be a soulmate. That's fine. But I do want it to be unique, and I do want it to stay. Six of Cups has the implication of memories, i.e. time. So you're actively building memories with this person and emotionality, but not putting too much of your passion into it on the upfront. Okay? You want it to feel special. You're looking for special. And I'm thinking, honey, that with this one, that would explain why you kind of like, I don't want to see what I know is true with that person, is because by all rights, you did get something special with it. It was the Lovers. That has a soul contract built into it, and it's usually not the easiest. Not. And that's what you're showing me. You did get something special, but that was no guarantee of results. You know? And I've said this before, I know I have, and we know I like to repeat myself. Just in that reference to you really want something special, it should be special to you. So if you're like, I'm holding out for that soulmate, honey, a soulmate, a healthy one, chooses you back. You may never really know that it's a soulmate, but it does choose you back in the interest of it being with you, and that's a healthy one. That's a long-lasting one. So maybe I say it all the time, I'll take a partner, a real partner, this is what we got in this life, in this lifetime partner, over a soulmate any day. Because a real partner is as good as. They're in your corner, practically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. A lot of soulmates, guys, the reason why they're unique is to impress upon us the importance of things we need to learn. That doesn't mean that they're going to stay. Soulmates come and go, just like people. And a soulmate here taught you something intense. So yes, I agree with your emphasis that they need to be friends first, but I just want you to amend. You may never really know whoever this is a soulmate or not. All you can do is try. Okay. Yeah, there's some fear in there. There's some pain. You're afraid that if you emotionally expand with whatever, and not just with this person, but anything, full stop, period. This is part of your anxiety. I don't want this to get the better of you. That's what I'm saying. I didn't like seeing this 9. You got 9s over here. 9s, 9s, 9s. I understand this, and I don't blame you, but I would also challenge you to take the strong connection of the moon and willfully examine it on your own time. Pain and all. Because I don't want that 9 of Swords, the 9 of Wands to get the better of you. What did I talk about, guys? I was afraid of residual fear and or anger by shoving that strong connection into the moon like it didn't happen. I understand it. I don't blame you and I don't fault you, but I would challenge you to take it out and actively... I understand your mind, but it was all sword. It was all sword. I don't know what you're thinking. If I just resolve upon this, I'll be safe. You'll be safer, okay, if you don't just come to the conclusion, but you run yourself through the emotional gauntlet. Because I don't want residual negativity affecting any future connectivity. And that's one of the things you are afraid of too. So that tells me you haven't done all the work yet. Because you're afraid, literally, of expressing yourself. The Knight of Cups to the Ten of Cups, just for it to get hurt or shut you down again. You're afraid of this. It was one of the things you had to leave behind. You're empowered enough to know that you can leave things behind if you need to, but you'd rather not to. So that's why you're showing me caution. Caution about building this. I don't want you to be so cautious that you lose it because you can't find your trust in yourself. That's what this is. I want you to find trust with you. And that means really allowing yourself to feel this. Why you need to block it. Do you have any leftover anger towards this? As you might. As one would expect. After that little assumption game you both played, yeah, you're going to have leftover anger issues. And I can't believe I allowed that to happen bullshit. And I should have saw that XYZ, or I did, and I refused to listen to myself. You got to go through all that. Because what's the point of building any sort of unique anything with anybody if you can't trust your own sense of emotional investment in it, you know? You got to trust you first. So that, I would call this absolutely a reasonable fear, 100%. But you're leaning more towards fear than hope. Do you want to love again and be loved in return? Absolutely. Are you afraid that you'll get hurt by it if you try? Yes. So while I honor that you made up your mind, and you did, if it's confusing, I'm out. But what about you? If you can't trust yourself, you'll become confusing to someone else, and they might do the same to you. Do you see? I want you to get on board with you, okay? Page of Wands is in your outcome. Opening up a little bit, curiosity, interest, insight, engagement, things like that. Page of Wands. I want that part of you to succeed, that wants to succeed, to indeed succeed. That's why I'm emphasizing to look at this more, okay? Temperance, the Fool. Yeah, I agree. You can't help but wonder, and this is a reasonable thing to wonder. Have I done enough healing, as I just said before I put down the cards, before you can really be the Fool and blast open towards this? You want to know, have you done enough here? That's what I'm talking about. Because part of you wants to be ready to open up more towards whatever this is that's unfolding before you. You might already be in this now, considering it's on your bridge point. Just started. Caution, caution, caution. Don't blame you. But here's the thing. You're only going to be able to go so far if you haven't done enough healing. I want you to trust yourself more, that you can tell a good situation from a bad one. That you can tell a good, healthy connection forming versus one that isn't. And like I said, if you have to ask, then you already know the answer. And if somebody can't speak for themselves, you know the answer. Can you speak for you? Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, even your underlying there is the Hermit. Have we done enough healing? We need to continue to engage in this. We do. And you will have your answer relatively soon. And I'm sorry that this hit the way it did, but it's, if you learn from it correctly, you'll never have to repeat it. And you'll never have to question future connections. Specifically, emotional trust. What did you learn from this? You know who you are, but you sold yourself short by playing along in their 10%. That's where the emotional trust issues are coming in. Not from them with you. Okay? Okay, other than that, I see you. You got clean slate energy here with somebody. You're both each other's options, which again is not an insult in this respect. It's fun when you have options, but not when you're someone else's option, right? You know that firsthand, so don't repeat that mistake. Theirs or yours. Cool. But it's one thing when two people understand they have options and they're pursuing them. Three of Pentacles. So that's literally starting out from scratch energy. Perfectly acceptable, perfectly normal. That's what starting out looks like. It's the very definition of it. So let's see when you are connecting to this. Show me that Knight of Cups, please. When does that bridge take place? Within 4 years? That's interesting. Within 18 months for some of you. For some of you, it began in July. For some of you, spring or upcoming spring. For those of you who identify with it, that Four of Pentacles made me raise my eyebrow because I was already looking at that Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles denotes 3 years. For some of you, this situation that's already clearly passed behind you, the judgment's behind you, it's exiting lesson. In other words, you should have learned it by now. Or you made that decision some time ago. For some of you, you made this decision, listen, you made this decision 3 years ago, and you're coming up on your 4-year marker. Okay? I'm not saying it exited 4 years ago. I'm saying for some of you, you exited this some time ago, but you're approaching your 4th year of having this decision already exit from your life. And now you're in that position of reapproaching new connectivity with clean slate energy. So for some of you, this was some time ago. And you're just now in a position, and you're wondering if you still have healed enough. Only you can really answer that question. You know you have the power to leave things. Cool. Do you know that you have the power to open up towards them because you trust yourself? That's a different question. Yes, some of you. You had your answer to this. Do they feel the same way 3 years ago, 4 years ago? From the beginning, really. Whenever they were convinced that 10% was good enough for this situation, and you were convinced that they might feel the same, but you didn't really want to ask. So in other words, you connecting with somebody to safely explore something new isn't 4 years from now. It represents your 4th year from whatever this start date was for this other thing. Anyway, that got my attention for some 18 months, July and spring. Okay, Capricorn, I hope this helped you. Put in the comments. Take care. Be well.